So at this point, this is your car. This is an aluminum polyester filler, most of which will be sanded away. This fills high and low spots, same thing on your deck lid. If there's any imperfections in the deck lid, this will fill it, but it'll be very thin. You can see they have to clean that out because your mold, your emblem here has a pin that drops into there. You can see how thin it is, and this will be sanded even more. So the body, like I said, aluminum powder in a resin, and they'll contour this, blend this in. The nails that hold this to the body, that's what they're filled and covered with, is a thin layer of that, so you don't see the nails. This is that joint where it was welded, so you can see that all there is a small amount of material covering the joint. Anyway, this is your bumper. These are kind of rippled and these are rounded. They're supposed to be flat. But you can see I can't polish out all these scratches that are through here. I'm not sure what they're from because we took these straight off your car and put them wrapped in like a blanket, put them out of the way. But again, these have been plated at one time, and this is all rounded, so it should be flat. The plating is, this is the top, by the way. The plating is all blistered and rusting underneath of it, and starting to come loose, but not as bad as the front. I'll show you the front in a minute. They're out in another building. This is bent and damaged right here, which we'll fix. We'll straighten that. But again, the plating is all coming loose. Like I said, it's not as bad as the front. Wasting a little bit of time here on the video walking back here, but give you an idea. This is some archive. That's a 450 SL, that's a 380 SL, and that back there is a 914 Porsche that we look at because we make a lot of parts for them. There's my bulldozer that I do a variety of things with around here. It's a windshield frame off of another person's car. Have you checked the windshield frame for Michael's?
Yeah,
it's like nice. It's nice? Okay. He wants this done as well. So we got to pop that apart. We got to try and straighten that little ripple right there. So he wants this one done as well. I'll pick up the other pieces, but I'm going to film.
You know, I'm trying to straighten that other one, and
I'm going to try and film what you.
Working all that well. It's kind of a.
Is that a crack? Is that a crack in the plating or a crack in the?
No, it's a crack in the bumper.
In the bumper. Or is it just the plating's cracked? The bumper's just got a big ding in it. We can tap some of that out. I may just have them strip these.
Send them back.
And I'll make another trip and pick them up, because it's easier for you to see what you got to work with without that plating on there.
It is.
You don't know if these are going to be deep pits. You don't know what you're going to have until that's gone.
I don't know if that's going to be a hole or
yeah.
what.
So let's just get it apart. Maybe not do any work on it. Just have them strip it, because there's more work to be done there. This here, we got to get inside. This is all rippled. We got to get inside. You've been tapping on this one? I think I'll have him strip them. This is darn light. Somebody's been grinding the heck out of this thing. We're going to have to get some copper. Yeah, this is thin. Okay. And we did get a lot of the plating back, and a bunch of this is for your car too. These are for Tim Clark's windshield frame.
Yes.
Okay. Here's your other bumper. This is for Mike's car. This is completely split. See daylight through there? Right there. Completely split out. And there's a crack right there. Those have to be welded up. This I think I showed before, but this is what's happening to the plating. It obviously, this is the nickel. This is the nickel, and you can see that the prep work to put the nickel on wasn't done very well. As a matter of fact, they just buffed the bumper and nickeled it. They did not put copper on. This is not copper. This is nickel directly over the bumper, which is cheaper, but you got to have a really good bumper and a really good surface to get away with that. And they actually did, but it didn't stay. This stuff sticks better to copper. This is why part of the reason they put it on there is you can work the copper and sand it and, you know, fix any little dimples or repairs that you need to do. And the plating is coming all off right here too. So anyway, all this here that you see is the nickel falling off the bumper. Well, the color you got is nickel. The chromium is clear. But this, they never coppered this bumper. They put nickel and chrome right over bare metal. That's the way the factory did it originally. But we're going to be doing copper, nickel, chrome.
Right. Makes it look a lot nicer.
Okay. So is the other one broken too, right here? Yeah, the other one is split right there. And he's trying to get some ripples out of the top. But what we're going to do is, I think I'm going to have them strip them, and next week early I will.
And these, I don't know what we're going to do.
I'd like you to find me a couple of used guards if you could. I'll bring them with me. This thing here has been all welded and brazed up right here, and it's not flat anymore. This one is really, really thin and light, and there is a crack about an inch. I don't know if you can see it in the video.
Those are front. You actually won't have front.
There's a crack in there that goes more than an inch long in the plating, which tells me the part inside is cracked as well. This has been ground and stripped so much that it weighs 25 or 30% less than the other side. So anyway, he has decided to do both bumpers, so we're gonna pull that one down. Rob says that his windshield frame is really nice, so we don't have to worry about that. His grill's pretty good too. His grill in his car was pretty nice, wasn't it? Okay, we're going to get these apart and get these off. He's looking for used bumper guards. You might have some in there that are plated already.
Yeah, but they're not going to match.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. Never seen them match before. But
This is pretty darn nice. This is a good original, you know that? It has the factory original paint inside.
yeah. Is that, no, that's F, so,
Left front, NOS, no blemishes, no
It
dent.
says right front.
So these are used, so we should probably have them plated so that they match the other color. But there's nothing wrong with them. These are like beautiful. I'll bring them with me and I will get them plated as well. Is there anything else you think we should just go ahead and plate while we're doing it? For stock or whatever? Oh, they are missing a stone guard. I thought I saw a nice stone guard with just a little bit of pitting in it out here. Colin, we're gonna have to make
Colin, here, trim that real quick, would
we're
you?
gonna be making a fixture off the new ones, and we are gonna be making our own stone guards shortly. So you're gonna be lasering that probably next week or the week after. And there are originals here for you to set up and mock up.
I don't know what it's
it'd be like that. But we got to weld the brackets underneath of those when we're done.
And put those little holes.
Huh? And put some holes in them. You can do that with a laser. All right, we're going to get back in a little while here after I get these things stripped.
Countersunk holes, so you got to.
Okay, bumpers apart. These have been cut out before and re-welded in. There's a small crack here. Nothing we're really going to worry too much about. The nut slides through here and comes in. It isn't going to pull through. We have the
Say just plate these.
license plate lamps pieces off of here.
Pretty good over the blister.
These are supposed to be machine screws. These are threaded correctly.
Yeah.
And they either were stripped or they didn't have them or whatever. They put metal screws back in. So we're probably going to have to do the same. We'll use probably stainless steel ones. But it's not what it's supposed to be, but we have an issue with this bumper. We're going to get it stripped and inspect it. It is almost as thin as tissue paper right here. You can see it kind of bent. When this is stripped, it's going to be thinner yet. We may have to make sure that we get a decent amount. You can see it's kind of wavy. A decent amount of copper. This one is not as bad. It's pretty thin in a few spots. You can see it's thicker here where they did some repairs. We'll get the plating stripped off, and that'll give us an idea. These are fairly light, meaning the metal's been sanded on a lot and thinned down. This one, this is not so light, so this has plenty of body left here. You can get an idea here of the thickness of that metal. These bumpers are supposed to be made out of the same stuff, so if I put these side by side, you can get a pretty good idea of the difference in thickness. So anyway, got a big dent right there. Can we even get to it? Yeah, it's not going to be easy. We can get to it the other hole. Okay, I'll get these over to them. We'll strip them, pick them up next week, do some work on them, get them back. They have agreed to try and hustle these through for me. I forgot about pricing these and these. I don't think these are available new, but I'm going to find out. The plating's coming off them. Okay, got to get rolling. One last thing. These are the front bumperettes. And they have been, well, I don't know what they've been. They're shot.
They've been plated.
They've been plated, repaired. They plated right over these deep pits. And these would cost about $100 and $125 a piece to fix them and plate them. And I believe the cost of new are somewhere right about there. And I won't even like those when they're plated, so we're going to put new ones on. Alright, back on Michael's car here. We're at the plating place. Just to show, we got both the bumpers. One outer front, the other outer front, both rears. Really nice guards that I have. Not so nice guards that he has. And his rear guards that are, well, we'll see when they're stripped. A little dinged and so on. We think we can straighten them out. It's got a little buckle, and you can see it in the light. It's got a buckle up here, and it's got a dent. The other one's got a dent right here. His front ones are pretty nasty. I'm not sure we can use them. So that's what we have here, and I forgot all about these until we took them apart, but you can see that they're definitely needing plating. And these are the covers off the license plate. They've been plated, but they're like grainy, like there's sand in them or something. We brought this as well, but this happens to be off of a different vehicle, Tim Clark's car. Michael's is actually in really nice shape, so we'll get back after they're going to strip these. We're going to pick them up. We're going to do some tweaking and straightening, and then we'll get them right back to them. Picking up Michael's goodies. I know they look surface rusted and all, but it's because they are after they're stripped. See the thickness of the metal right here? Now watch as I go down. It gets darn near, you can almost cut yourself on that. It is so sharp. Feel that? That is like a knife blade. That's how much the previous company sanded off the material.
That's crazy.
To try and fill it and make it right. Now, when you put copper on, it doesn't warp it, does it?
No.
Okay, so it actually, you can add some thickness to this.
You can add thickness to it, yeah.
Yeah, because this, I can shave my fingernail off. See that?
Yeah.
That's how sharp it is. It's like a knife. And all you did was take the nickel and the copper off.
Yeah.
So this one's very, very thin. This one's, you can see the thickness there. It's a little thinner in the middle.
You can still see it, yeah. It's still
Not anywhere as near the front one.
more near that front one.
So that front one is, they'll have to be careful holding on to it. Literally, you can cut yourself on it. Now these will be sandblasted and all cleaned up, but you can see that the thickness of the material is quite nice yet. Had them strip these so I can look for dents. Some of these this is cracked and split right here. That has to be ground back. It's a clean metal. We'll weld that on both sides and grind it down. If they plate this and you bolt it up, if there's any flex in the bumper, you'll crack that. And then it'll rust and then it'll look nasty. So I'm not going to film all of the rest of these because they're very similar in the ends. They have broken, you can see that real obvious. So that's why they've stripped them for me. And we're going to take them back, do the welding and whatever repairs they need. And then we'll get them back here to them. Back to Michael's parts to the bumper here. We've taken a straight edge across different areas, making sure the contour. Primarily what was wrong with these is they were all split and torn. That's all been welded and sanded down. We got a sandblaster in here. We're going to sandblast these clean. He's filed through this area here. Added a little material right there because that was nicked out. I know they look nasty because they've been chemically dipped. This was quite dented. It's got a little more repair to do right there. And a little bit here. The rest of the bumper's in pretty good shape. Sanded and filed here, you can see spots where it had been brazed before. We're blending all that in. Got to look at this a little more carefully, whether that's a crack or not. This particular one was all split open. It's been welded, and this will be buffed. This will be ground and sanded down till it's smooth, and then the rest of this had a dent in it that he has taken out. So we're running these through this sandblast cabinet here. Get these cleaned up. So we'll get some shots Back of the car is all roughed. A good percentage of the filler that you see here will be sanded away. But this is roughed. Here he's doing the same thing. You got some material on the inside to strengthen that.
Yep. No, not yet.
But you're going to be putting that on the inside.
Order some more.
Okay, so he's getting the contour and the gaps. Again, a good bit of this will be sanded off. The reason you see so much on the hood is there's small high and low spots all over the hood where it got damaged at one time or another. So he's got to skim it all over, and you'll see as he's sanding, you'll find spots show up where there's just a thin layer around that. Nothing like there was when you started. Right. Didn't that thing have like a quarter of an inch all over the thing? You can see where there's hammered marks and dings previously from them working on the fenders over the years. He'll skim coat that with a material called all metal. They've done it in through here, and it's very thin now, but at least it'll be, you know, smooth. The doors didn't need much of anything by the looks of things, did they?
The doors were about the only good thing.
Yeah.
Really, really good thing. They had a lot of bond on them, but they didn't need it.
So you tapped out a lot of whatever there was?
Oh, everything, yeah.
All right, we'll get back after we do a little more work on the chrome and he gets a little farther on the nose there. This chrome will go back this week and they're going to get right on it. And this is July, I believe, July 10th. It's 9th or 10th. It's the 10th, Tuesday. So it'll come, it's coming along. It'll come a lot faster here shortly when we start getting these pieces back and start putting them. He's going to take this car hopefully within a week over and get it painted. That'll be done at another shop.
Spent a few more hours on these bumpers. This had a hole here where it didn't belong, welded it shut, ground it off on the other side. Remember correctly, this was as sharp as a knife, you could cut yourself. So I reshaped it from here, taking about a 1/16 off to give some more metal here, so they actually got something to copper plate to. So this thing is adequate. This, same thing, shaped this a little where it had been beaten on, it was jagged, it had high spots. Blended this in, checked for measurements, and straightened it up. So we feel that the main centers, the ends, are good. This is a bumper end. Had some warpage up here near the top. Pretty much all taken care of. A little bit of warpage here, a little bit thin, but when they copper that, that should take care of that. I'll inspect that right here. I got a tiny little warp. Take that out. His front bumper guards. These brackets have been cut away and put back in. This one's put back in too low on this corner and too far away. So when this should touch the face of the bumper, and this should have enough gap here so that a gasket will go in it. This just barely misses the bumper, and as this gasket is being squeezed, this rests against the bumper, so it's firm, but yet you have a gasket around here. I'll show you in a minute. This one is all rounded, cracked down the middle, very thin, and there's a hole ground completely through. I actually have to weld this from here to here. I decided not to because this bracket also, you can see, has been cut away and welded in, and it is even further away from this corner, so you can stick the end of a pencil practically between here. So these areas here smash into the bumper. See if I've got the bumper piece here. Sorry, I'm one-handed here. Okay, you can see that the metal hits the bumper, it should be back away from here about that far when this is touching. And that really never comes up against the body. I think I got the wrong side here. Fits like that, actually up here like this. And you can see that the bracket, the way this sets, is crooked. And because of its holes and the fact that it's rounded, when we tap that down, it's going to split and I'll have to weld it. You can already see it's been welded several times inside. We don't feel comfortable using that one. This one here is very thin. We tapped it flat and it cracked. It cracked here, it cracked here. This is so thin, when I just barely tap it, it puts dents into it. Now this one might be the correct one for this side. Let me see here a minute. No, that's for the other side. Now I gotta find out what we do with that other, where we walked off with my other bumper end. I think Rob must have carried it away. So we went ahead and tried to fix this one. But again, this bracket is not welded in here correctly, and it hits the bumper up here and down here. As soon as he comes back with that bumper end that I think he walked off with, I'll get some shots of that. This is the bumper center, rear. This is this side. And this is this side. This one we welded up about 3/4 of the way up, and tapping it flat, we have another crack right up through here that probably gonna have to weld and grind down. This is the same situation. The bracket inside of here should be right out near the edge. Let me show you. This is an original, still with the cream colored paint on the inside. See how close the weld is to the lip there? And those are fronts. May not look like much, but that's farther down. And it doesn't take much to where when you bolt this up, this doesn't hit the bumper, this gouges into the seals and cuts them. Did you walk away with that other half? No. I don't see it.
You did too when you walked up front right.
Did I go back that way to grind on it? Maybe I carried it in the other room. So I need a third hand. I need you to kind of hold this on here.
No, I had surgery for that.
Need you to lift that up.
No, both the new ones are right here.
Yeah, the new ones are what we're going to end up having to use for the front. This is the rear. So this should lay there, and that bracket inside, you can't hardly see it. The bracket should be touching the bumper, and I have a little more than 1/8 of an inch gap.
Yeah, there's like.
And this is hitting here, and hitting here, and hitting here, and hitting here. There should be a fairly consistent gap when that is touching so that the rubber seal can go in. We're going to have to modify that with a washer, or he's going to need new guards, and I don't have any. So if we space this away, what happened is, you see that large gap there? They cut these brackets out, welded them back in 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch down too far, making this shape here smack the bumper. The bumper's been worked a little, so the shape isn't 100%, but that's what the gasket helps you make up for.
Make up that.
You know, so when these hit here, they shouldn't lay
touching this. That bracket should hit here first, leaving us room for a gasket. If we were to leave this way and put the gasket in there and tighten the bolt, this metal will shear the gasket in half.
Well, that tighten it too much, it'll pucker the bumper.
Yeah. So if we put a spacer on that and we keep this up, say, that far, then the gasket will fill most of that gap and look proper.
Yeah.
So this bumper, in reality, you see this arch? This bumper should have more of an arch, and they whacked it flat when they plated it last time. I'm not sure if we can get...
Oh, you're not going to re-arch.
We're not going to be able to get the full arch back in. So again, that's a little bit of a pucker right there. I want you to tap that out. So what it boils down to is the gasket's going to have to make up for some of that. We'll try and arch that, but then it'll be hammer beaten, you know. So we'll try and get some more arch into that. He might be able to do it in his roller.
Maybe. The only problem is I can't get... Oh, you can get all of
Well, we'll try this and we'll see what we can get. You got that bracket in there and that's not high enough. How about flipping it the other way? No, because we want it round, not flat. We may have to get in there with a hammer. But anyway, that's what we're encountering. We got them stripped. We got to get them back to the plater. This is Thursday, the 11th of July. We got to get these back to the plater tomorrow so he can work on them next week. And I got to go to Minnesota next week. So I want to get these things in. Very little tweaking that needs to be done here. You can see there's like a notch there. I'll take that, sand it, kind of blend these things in, and then he's going to attempt to get that a little more round so that the bumper guard fits it better. Then we can use his guards and not have to try and find something else used or whatever. We'll get back in a while. You got a quick shot here. How the car's coming. Front end's very close to being final roughed. You're going to do the finished stuff over at your shop, right?
We're going to prime, first prime here.
First prime here. So you're going to get this all smoother and
Yep.
okay.
And then we're going to take it over to my place, block it, prime it, and then paint it.
Squirt some color.
Yeah, use some color on it. They want a pink, right?
Yeah, pink with stripes. Yeah, that's it. His wife will have a heart attack listening to this now. All right. We'll get back just before we go over to the plater. Welded these, filed them down. These are all bowed, and hammering them back flat formed another crack right here because sand is so thin. So we're having to re-weld that. Tapping this flat has formed a crack right here. We can't see daylight through it. This one, you can hold it up to light and see daylight through it where there's a crack. What do you think about
I can feel that.
welding right up that, so just to make sure that I don't see daylight, but there is a crack there. So we're going to weld this one here up. Try not to get a shot. Sand these down. I'm actually going to the plater today, so I got to get this done. We'll get back after we get these back from the plater.
I got 80, mostly everything, yeah. But that's quick.
Everything is coated. Needs more sanding. The contouring around the headlight, making sure the headlight rings fit properly. Even a new nose panel isn't crisp here, and you have to add some filler to blend that in. A lot of what you're seeing will be sanded away. picking out high and low spots. You'll see shiny metal coming through. This is very thin, taking care of imperfections in the fender. A lot of sanding to do yet, and blending in edges. It'll be heading off to the paint area tomorrow. One more thing, we're making sure the grill fits the body properly. We found some damage on the grill. He's straightening. We also found the grill's been plated once, and the plating is bubbling here. We can't do anything about that. The plating has a crack in it, and it's kind of starting to come loose here. You can see there's some little, that warp right there. That'll come out without cracking the plating. That little crack, that little bump right there will come out. There's a notch there that they plated over, so you can't do anything about that. A little ripple there, but I'm not sure that'll show up. Yeah, you know, how far do you go? The poor guy's getting a lot of time and money into this car. The bolt that was here on the other side, someone drilled a hole through and put a screw through it. We can't do anything about that right now. If he chooses in the future, we can, you know, re-chrome one of these and send him the bolts and stuff that he can bolt in. Or, like he said, he wants a nice driver. He doesn't want, you know, doesn't want to be afraid to drive the car down the road, you know. So yeah, you got to fit this to that grill. So just be careful how much you straighten, because it can crack plating if you have to go too far. But I only see some small imperfections here.
That ain't bad, little things here, but
Yeah, some of that you're gonna have to just leave. As long as it fits the grill. Make a quick walk of it here. Here's our outbuilding. That's Michael's trailer. That parked right where it sat ever since he dropped it off. That's what he's gonna haul the car back with. Front end of a different car we're working on. These are the seat bottoms finished. We'll steam it a little bit, try and work some of these wrinkles out. It's difficult when you got old frames. You got to try and pat them just right. Backs are partly done. You can see the leather is on them. They have to be padded as well. They're not quite done. We got to work on those today yet. And this is his aluminum surround that they've been working on for more than an hour, just to clean the old vinyl. Where is that pile of old vinyl? There's the vinyl that was on it. Where are his seat or his armrests? Huh?
there's the door panels. The door panels there.
Yeah, the door panels are too warped. We can't use those.
Right there is
The old. Okay. These armrests have been perforated a number of times. They're also broken.
This one's like hollow.
And that's all hollowed out. So screws won't come through the back and into them any longer. This one's also broken. You can see where they had doweled them.
No foam on it.
But this has shattered apart here. They're supposed to be foam wrapped about a ½ inch thick. And so we picked up some foam. So these are shot. So my sister made us up some new ones out of a nice laminated plywood. You do know we want to pre-drill, depending on the size of screws that come into here, you want to pre-drill your holes from the back so it doesn't try to split it.
Yeah.
You know, when you get it fit, you're going to come through that back and you're going to pre-drill into here so it doesn't try to, you know, blow them apart. I don't know if they did that here, but you can see all the cracking. The wood is rotted and just,
Well, because it's all one piece, it's not plywood.
well, they joined it,
Right.
but because it's not laminated plywood, it breaks easier. This I don't think will break as easy.
No, you want to use plywood in that situation because
Yeah.
otherwise it follows the grain of the
Yeah.
wood and it'll crack.
Yep, and it did. But they also split it like crazy when they put numerous screws through it over the years. So he's going to get,
And it was stapled.
you're going to have to shave this foam down, you know that.
Yeah.
It's too thick. So they got some high density foam that'll get put on here, and then they'll shape it. And these are the pieces that have been stripped and cleaned. This wood, however, is in decent shape. It comes apart. You can see these holes. Screws come through or nails and hold these in location. And this forms the armrest of the car, and the armrest sits on top of that. This is like a door pocket. So that wood's okay. We don't have to build that new. But we do have to put new ones on there. And the glue that they use at the factory is just enjoyable.
Is it kind of rubbery?
You have to
Yeah, it's
use,
Rubber stuff?
you have to
Rubber.
use
Can you use that rubber in the
lacquer thinner.
Acetone or acetone, something.
Yeah,
Gets through
spread it in there, soften it up, and breathe deeply so that your feet start floating off the ground.
For the pillar gaskets?
I know I should be wearing my mask.
So it's coming clean. Is the backside as bad or not as bad? Okay, it's just as bad.
Yep, that's going to take a while.
If they don't clean this off, you'll see the gobs of glue in the grain of the leather, and it'll look funny.
And the other glue won't stick.
The other, it'll stick here and there, but
It won't stick properly. Yeah. So these, it takes a couple hours to clean these, plus a couple more hours to clean that, and a couple more hours to take it apart. So it's time consuming. I don't know what time we have into the making of the actual armrest wood themselves, but. And these panels we have to replace. We are laser cutting these now,
Those are too,
but this is it's just too warped. We can't even steam or get that. It's a permanent bow. There's chunks missing. So these aren't real expensive, but we just don't dare use them over. They're not going to be proper. All right, so we're going to try and get this tape concluded here for now and get this video out so he can see the progress.